Hi there, I'm Tom Walker, Head of Year 12 at the Longsands Sixth Form. I'm delighted to be able to present to you this virtual Welcome to Year 12 evening presentation. Throughout this presentation, I'm going to go through many key important messages throughout Year 12. Namely, I'm going to go through the key dates, the rhythm of the year, the important transition that's taken place in this academic term from Year 11 into Year 12. But I'm also going to give you some information around the enrichment programme that we have here, as well as some other important messages that will be really helpful for you and for your son or daughter throughout their stay here in Year 12 and Year 13 at the Sixth Form. Before we start that though, I think it's really important to introduce to you the Sixth Form team that we're lucky to have here at Longsands. Obviously, first and foremost, for those of you who don't know me, it's great to be able to say a virtual hello to you, and I hope to be able to greet you in person soon. But my name is Tom Walker, and I, as I said at the start, am Head of Year 12. So my role is to oversee all pastoral and academic ongoings for all the students in Year 12. We also have Miss Bell, who is our most able champion, and I've worked very closely with Miss Bell over the past 3 years, and she does an amazing job with our most able students, namely looking at our Oxbridge, early entry, Russell Group University students, and seeing them so well through their applications to their destinations. She also does some reading groups and some extension work for other very able academic students who are also interested in this sector. We also have Mr. Simpson, who this year has been looking over our personal development and our careers. And Mr. Simpson on Thursday, is going to be presenting to the year group via a virtual assembly all the work that he's going to do over the course of the academic year. I will myself be touching upon some of these points later on in this presentation. We're also very lucky to have a very good student support network and team here at the Sixth Form. And to start with, that includes Mrs. Alder, who has joined us this year as our student support officer and has already this early on done some fantastic work meeting some of the students she is supporting. And we also have Mr. Smith, who is our inclusion and wellbeing officer, who also joined us late on in the academic year last year. And finally, we have Miss Walton, who is our student support and our admin worker here for the Sixth Form. And she has also done some brilliant work over the past few years with our students, namely particularly with Year 12 at the minute, in helping them get settled into life here as a Sixth Form student. So now I've done that, I thought I'd start here really with one of the most important slides here throughout the presentation, which is the Year 12 outline really. Now, really for me, the key messages and the key preparations that we're trying to get the students ready for is, of course, their post-18 destination, their pathways where they're going to go when they leave us, having obtained, hopefully, some brilliant results at the end of Year 13. And the key messages for us at the minute, and the main focus, as you can see at the top there, has been really the change in their independent study habits. This for the first time, obviously, as a student, being that they've had free time that they have complete ownership of. And it's been important that we've really got to grips with how to utilize this time as effectively as possible as early on. The message that most Sixth Forms across the country and nationally in their competition are giving is the same as what we give, and it's 4 hours per subject per week of independent work and work outside of the classroom. We'll also be launching an enrichment programme, which starts this afternoon with myself, and this will soon diverse into a fully fledged enrichment programme after the Christmas holidays. Throughout the year, we also look at effective revision techniques, particularly the scientifically proven techniques that Dr. Cullen and Mrs. Andrews, when she was still here, created in the Revision Techniques That Work booklet that you can see photographed on the slide. There is, of course, a real big notice and pressure and presence on exam skill guidance, which is really drip fed throughout the start of the year and obviously has a big influence as we go through our journey through Year 12 and continue it onto Year 13. As I said earlier, what encompasses pretty much every piece of information and every piece of support and guidance we give is centered around the post-18 destination of your son and daughter and everyone in Year 12. Of course, we believe, and we have given assemblies very early on, about the students knowing their why and their core purpose, and that being their main motivator. And really, from our point of view, a successful formula of all of these points and factors really helps the progression into year 13 and beyond. For this academic term, of course, the main focus is the students' transition into sixth form. Because even though it is the same site with largely the same teachers, and it will be a familiar environment, life as a sixth form student is very, very different to that of a year 7 to 11 student. Of course, there's increased subject content that the students have to deal with and cope with very early on, particularly in the streamlined curriculum, going down in terms of their quantity of subjects. But the vast increase of quality really is a test for students early on. That coincides really with an increased exam difficulty, particularly with the different scenarios that exams present, and the different structures of coursework subjects and vocational subjects that we have on offer here on our curriculum. Of course, as I've already touched upon, the level of independent work and effective independent work is one of the main focuses here for the first term and beyond here at the sixth form. And that really goes hand in parallel with their study habits and their further enrichment, which I'm going to talk about a little later on in this presentation. Alongside all of this, with our enrichment though, the students have just started a transition to sixth form skills booster that they've had delivered with me in the Ritchie Hall today. This is a fantastic separate course that all students will be completing. Not only does it give the students viable skills and really a good look into their self-reflection on themselves as learners, but it also gives them a really good stead going forward with their applications for whatever pathway they desire to take, when we'll be looking more into that at the end of year 12. So here for you now, I've put some of the main dates, particularly surrounding certain evenings and the assessment points for you to have here. Of course, for those of you who have the parent app, the assessment points will be communicated via that, as they have been for parents throughout years 7 to 11. As you can see here, coming up quite soon, we have the tutor review meetings, where there'll be more information sent home to you via centralised communication. But these are a great opportunity for you and the students to have good contact with their tutor. Particularly in the sixth form, I think the tutor plays a far more important role than any other year, having such a deep hand with their applications and their references that they will have later on, starting this academic year, and of course moving on into year 13. As you can see, starting on the 3rd of November, we have our first of 3 assessment points that happen throughout February, and then after the mock exams, as you can see, in early June, with the final assessment point being on the 30th of June. We do also have, as you can see, on the 25th of November, back over to the left, the parent consultations evening, which will happen virtually. And again, of course, there will be more information closer to this date for you to engage with the student subject teachers as well. The final evening that is worth mentioning at this point for you in our second week is the week commencing the 21st of March, prior to their study leave, and prior obviously to the preparation around their mock exams. We do have an exam support evening here for all the students in year 12 and year 13 combined, as they both look forward to an important assessment point throughout the year. I wanted also to talk to you about the tutor programme here, and again, as I said earlier, the relationship really does progress here at sixth form, and the relationship will be very different, very mature, and hopefully very more meaningful between the students and their tutors. Here is just a kind of a snapshot of the different things that will be delivered throughout the tutor programme here to all the students. Of course, I've touched upon their destination support and guidance, whether that be university, whether that be apprenticeships, degree apprenticeships, employment, or indeed a gap year. There's advice and guidance on all different avenues that we have quite substantial support networks here for all our students. There's also an important role for the tutor to play in student finance and financial planning. Of course, we do have our personal development, our PD programme, which is partially delivered through the tutor programme, as well as the designated lessons throughout the half term. There is also a real emphasis on effective revision techniques that are delivered by the tutors. And finally, whole round employment skills and applications. This really is the main focus of our tutor programme that will progress as we go through year 12 into year 13. Next, I really wanted to highlight to you the enrichment programme here at the Sixth Form. Now, as I touched upon earlier in the presentation, all Sixth Form students are entering Skills Booster in the Stepping Up to the Sixth Form, which will be a fantastic academic package and academic course for them to complete. In the last 2 weeks, they've also had information around the Extended Qualification Project, the EPQ, and already over 40 students have put their name forward to sign up to this, which is a fantastic extra qualification they can do, which does yield UCAS points and helps towards certain universities. There is also the Young Apprentice Programme, which Mr. Cook has just launched in the last few days, which is another enrichment and another activity for the students to further develop their life skills. There are academic clubs that the students can go to, particularly and namely extracurricular clubs. We will have trips and day visits throughout the year, but of course some of these have sadly been hampered due to the COVID restrictions that we are still experiencing and still under. I've had quite a lot of students already come to me this early on, and it's lovely to see about volunteering and different experience they can do. And there is an opportunity for all students to do a work experience right at the end of this academic year that we will start looking forward to once the June mock exams have been completed. The developed enrichment programme, though, as a whole, will take place after Christmas, and all sessions will be available on a Wednesday, period 5. So all students will be in completing one of the different enrichment clubs and activities that are on offer here at Longsands. Of course, really, one of the main components of a Sixth Form student and of a Sixth Form pastoral team is the support and guidance, as I've touched on throughout, around their next steps. And even this early on, I think it's important, as I touched on earlier, with the students knowing their why and their motivator. I think having a clear goal and a clear target at this early stage really does justify the motivation of all the students that much better. Now, as you can see in the boxes on the right, I thought I'd put in some comments of my year group just left of the 2021 leavers that they put in their unanimous exit survey. And they're just lovely comments to really highlight to you the great work that we have done here and will continue to do around putting the students in the best place possible to make the best decision for them around their next steps when they leave here. And it is a big decision, but we do have a substantial support network. Two of the main apps that are really important to highlight to you and to be familiar with are the Unifrog app and, of course, UCAS. Now, the Unifrog app, as I'll touch upon in a second, is a really substantial search network that will really help the students and yourselves with clarity around their next steps. For those of you considering university as a next step, we will do a lot of work towards the end of year 12 around using UCAS as a platform. As you may well know, all university applications are all completed nationally through the UCAS app. Unifrog then is a really brilliant platform, and as I said, it really did get such positive feedback from the year 13s who have just left in the summer of 2021. Unifrog allows a full university and apprenticeship search engine, not just nationally but globally as well. Through this Unifrog platform, and I implore you to have a, when you've got an evening free or an afternoon free, do have a sit with the students and have a look through, because what they can do is create personal shortlists around filtered searches, so they can search via subject, they can search via university. There's quite a few different ways they can search for several courses in different fields via Unifrog. This will as well be the main platform for us to complete our personal statements and the students to complete their personal statements. And there will be far more support, namely via the handbook that we give for them to complete this. As you'll see popping up on the screen to your right, what really does stand out for Unifrog is the way it presents the information to you. Whether you're looking for an apprenticeship, a degree apprenticeship, or a university, it will search by these three main headings and filter all searches into this. aspirational destinations, those that are slightly above your currently working at grades and your progress. And you can change the grades as we go through the year and as you get a clearer picture around the level of attainment that the students have throughout. There is a solid category in the middle for those that yield the same amount of UCAS points as the student is currently working at that time. And it does give you a safe version on the far right, as you can see, which is courses that have a UCAS entry requirement below the current level of attainment. Once you do that and you create your shortlist, as you can see just popped up on the screen now, the depth of course information around the facts, the Guardian rating, the information about the units you study, the information about the campus, the financial implications, all the information is there in one page for you and is there for you to store to your account so you can revisit any time. So please do take some time and have a little look, and do encourage your son or daughter to have a good look through the Unifrog platform. There will be quite substantial work done on this, particularly on Thursday form times, as Mr. Simpson is going to launch tomorrow in assembly with the year group. Also felt it was important to give you information around the SEN support and the fantastic work they do for our sixth form students as well. If you do require any more information, please do feel free to contact Mrs. Morales, who is our SEN lead here at Longsands, as she is now from year 7 through to 13. I have also put her email address on the last slide of this presentation, alongside other important contact details, should you feel the need to follow this up after the information given in this presentation. And finally, I wanted to end with this important piece of information really, which is around our health and wellbeing support for our sixth form students. There is on our website, if you go onto the sixth form tab on our website, as you can see on the screen now under the student life icon, there is a student support and wellbeing package. Now on this, I've screenshotted some snippets of some external agencies that our students can go and find, as well as a lovely quote, one amongst many, that again our leavers who have just gone via year 13 this summer have said about the work that we do here as a sixth form team. It is important to note that, of course, any of the members of staff here that I've introduced to you virtually via the presentation at the start will, of course, always be there to support our students. They can use their form tutors as an avenue with the positive relationships they have there, as well as their subject teachers. So there are many avenues of support. But if that's not relevant, or if that's not right for the students, there are many external agencies that they can go to help them that little bit more. We also do have an email address, as you can see at the bottom of this slide, tellus@australia-longsands.org, which gives the students the opportunities to really echo their problems and converse with their problems over email, should they find it that much more comfortable to use that avenue of communication for their support. Thank you very much for your time virtually through this presentation. I really hope that you've had the opportunity to really grasp the information and the rhythm of year 12. Hopefully, for those of you who haven't had the opportunity to meet in person, I hope we do so very soon. And for those of you who I've gotten to know so well over the last 6 years since I've been here, I look forward to seeing you once more again in person as we go through the year here. Please do feel free to, of course, email me at any time should you have any queries or questions. And I've put all the relevant email addresses on this slide for you and their role here at the sixth form, should you have any questions you want to direct towards them. Thank you very much for your time once again. I hope you have a lovely evening, and I look forward to seeing you all soon.
My name is Julian Merson. I'm Assistant Principal in charge of Assessment and Moderation. Firstly, I would like to talk about homework arrangements for students in Year 12. As in previous years, we use Doddle to record all homework tasks, and we encourage parents to log into Doddle in order to monitor the homework being given. The rhythm of homework through the week will vary depending on timing of lessons. However, as a rule of thumb, students should expect to match their lesson time with the same quantity of homework time, which means roughly 5 hours per subject per week. An important difference from previous years, of course, is that there is more freedom as to when they accomplish these tasks. Students may make use of study periods at school as well as time spent at home. Homework is a really important means of reinforcing the learning that takes place in lessons. The biggest contributing factor to improving outcomes is the amount of effort put in. We talk with students about a healthy approach to this. Students should mix their studies with plenty of downtime. This will become increasingly important as they move into key assessment periods such as mock exams. Any specific queries about homework tasks should be raised with the subject teacher. Progress reporting in Year 12 follows a similar pattern to previous years, with 3 progress reviews during the year. Parent consultations will follow the first progress review in November, and this provides an early opportunity to discuss progress with teachers, establishing and dealing with any issues which may have emerged. Year 12 mock exams take place in June, and this will provide a really useful record of progress during the first year of Sixth Form study. I hope this information is useful. Please do not hesitate to contact me if you have any questions about assessment processes during the coming year.
My name's Michael Simpson and I'm the Sixth Form Careers Coordinator. I've been telling all my Sixth Form students this week that once they finish education, it's likely that they'll be working for the next 50 years. It hasn't gone down very well, so hopefully they'll start to make the most of this programme. So over the 2 years in Sixth Form, we've got a number of goals of our careers programme. We want to develop independent, resilient learners. So the first lesson in Year 12, we look at resilience, what it is, why it's important, and how to develop it. We want to encourage our students to be aspirational. We want to help them understand what they're good at, what their interests are, and link that into relevant career opportunities. We want to develop key employability skills. We want to give all students an interview experience with an employer. And we want over the 2 years for students to have a really good knowledge of their post-18 options. For Year 12 students, they will all be expected to undertake a work experience placement in July 2022. More information about that to follow. Now, how will we achieve these goals? Well, it'll be through a mixture of PD lessons and trips, and having external speakers coming in to speak to the students. All Year 12 students will receive a PD careers and employability workbook with lots of useful information to go through. Now, sorry, I don't expect you to be able to read this slide, but at the back of the workbook, you can see all the activities that Year 12 students will be doing in PD lessons. Okay, so you can see the PD sessions, and also it tells you about the trips and speakers coming in to speak to our students. PD for Sixth Form isn't totally about careers. There's also things like finances and relationships. I hope I'm not teaching relationships, by the way, but it's a really well-rounded programme, okay, as you can see from this programme. Now, in the careers workbook, we have produced and we've compiled lots of excellent resources for students to access their post-18 options. So we'd be really grateful if you could encourage students to use this workbook and do as much research as possible. Okay. So certainly by the end of Year 12, we want students to have a really good understanding of what their post-18 options are. Okay, is it taking a gap year? Is it going to university, studying abroad, apprenticeships, or employment? And we will try and sort of drip this information into students via their PD lessons, and also with external speakers coming in and taking students on trips as well. Okay, so certainly by Year 13, students have a good idea of what they want to do, and they can start thinking about how to make it happen. Now, the platform we're going to be using this year is Unifrog. It's a really excellent platform. In the workbook, there is a user guide on how to use it. Now, if your child tells you they haven't got any work to do, first of all, I can assure you they're fibbing. They should have lots of work to do, but they can always spend a bit of time on Unifrog. So again, we'd be really grateful if you could encourage your child to make the most of this platform. There is a comprehensive user guide in the workbook, but there is really excellent resources there. Okay, so students should be completing a likes and interests quiz where it can match these to careers they might be good at. They can write a CV, they can produce references. In year 13, they can also produce a personal statement, but you've also got a search function which allows students to really search apprenticeships and university courses. So really would encourage students to make the most of this platform. Okay, and we'd be really grateful if you could keep on them, because the more research, the better. Now, I'm actually really delighted to say that this is the first time we're going to expect all Year 12 students to do a work experience placement. I think the benefits of work experience placement in the sixth form are massive. Usually we have work experience in Year 10. Now, unfortunately for Year 12s, that was cancelled due to COVID, but there's some really big differences. Year 10 work experience is about getting students to experience any placement, while sixth form work experience, there's much more of a careers focus. Okay, it's the final week pretty much of term, July the 11th to July the 15th. Now again, we want students to find their own placement, and we want it to have a career slant. So if your son or daughter wants to be a solicitor, we want them to get in touch with a law firm. Okay, so it's not really very beneficial for them to be in a supermarket stacking shelves or working in a restaurant. So the onus is on the student to sort that placement out for themselves. There'll be lots more information of this on this to follow, but we're just giving an early heads up so students and parents can start thinking about what placement they're going to do. Okay, so we will be giving students lots of information in PD lessons and throughout the year, teaching them how to develop employability skills, practicing interviews, which might happen if they're going for work experience placement, and also giving them the knowledge to be able to communicate with employers. Now, I've been a teacher here quite a long time. I'm not going to tell you my age, but this is something that rings very true for me. Students without a goal or a vision, generally they underperform. Okay, the students that I've seen do really well over the years generally are motivated because they've got a vision. They know what they want to do in the future. Okay, so encouraging your child to do lots of research on their careers, I think, is a really useful way of getting them motivated, and it can have a really positive impact on their academic performance as well. Okay, thank you very much.